Touring Championship for 1998 at Zweibrücken, and huge Peugeot fan base, the Peugeot factory just a few kilometres from the track. Well, a slow start from pole position as Manuel Reuter spins the wheels to little effect, and that means that BMW of Joe Winkelhock gets into the lead at this ultra-fast airfield circuit. Uwe Altzen in second place, right behind him. Manuel Reuter recovering to take third from Johnny Cecotto on the run down to the first corner. But in fact, it's not him, it's Gabriele Tarquini who goes into third place early on. Eventually, Tarquini holding on there, but Cecotto fighting back strongly to take second as he chases Joe Winkelhock and overtakes Laurent Aiello. Overtakes Uwe Altzen, I beg your pardon. So BMW 1 and 2, well, Altzen eventually penalised because he didn't start properly on the warm-up lap and then took his place up again on the grid, so he was dropped out of third. Aiello crossed the line in fourth place, but picked up the points for third in the sprint. Joe Winkelhock swapping positions with Johnny Cecotto to ensure that BMW's best placed driver, the championship points leader, won the sprint at Zweibrücken. Altzen eventually finishing in 15th place. That's how they scored their points. And the race proved to be a result for BMW equal to the sprint. Cecotto and Winkelhock first and second on the grid, first and second all the way. Aiello only in fifth place behind Roland Asch and Eric Ellery. So a great weekend for BMW at Zweibrücken, another of the ultra-fast circuits on which they weren't expected to feature well, and Johnny Cecotto extends his championship lead from 45 to 83 points over Laurent Aiello. Peugeot in a real slump. On to round 8 then, the Salzburg Ring, and the situation couldn't be more different. Laurent Aiello, his first double of the season, takes pole, wins the sprint, goes on to win the race. And this time the BMWs of Johnny Cecotto and Joe Winkelhock, 12th and 13th in the sprint, 10th and 16th in the main race. Well, Cecotto and Winkelhock doing everything they can to survive this race with maximum points, or as many as possible, but Laurent Aiello wins the sprint and the main race, takes a maximum of 90 points, and that allows him to close right up on Cecotto. There is Geraldine, Laurent's wife, and there are the 3 Peugeots. Yes, that's right, because Michael Bartels has been drafted in.
We know a little bit better the car. I think we found something this weekend. I hope it will work also in Oschersleben.
So Michael Bartels, there he is, congratulating Laurent Aiello. And on to Oschersleben, the penultimate round of the championship. And whatever it was that Peugeot found, and they never really did let on, Aiello was right. It did work, at least in Oschersleben at least. He started for pole for the second time of the season and won the sprint and the main race. Johnny Cecotto fighting back here from a bad start. Incidents all the way along. Jörg van Ommen trying to deny him the place, gets hooked up across the nose of the BMW. Cecotto survives. Van Ommen not quite so well. On the final lap, Joe Winkelhock, who was a long way ahead in third place, had slowed down enough to allow Cecotto to take the position, and that gave him vital points in his championship chase as Laurent Aiello ran off to score an important win for him in the sprint ahead of Michael Krum in the Nissan. So Aiello, Krum, and then Cecotto and Winkelhock do the double shuffle at the end. Winkelhock slowing down from third place to allow Cecotto to take that position and score an extra few points. The race then at Oschersleben, and they seem to get away fairly well, but 2 Audis and an Opel involved at the start. Emanuele Pirro, Christian Abt and Manuel Reuter stuck in between them. This is how it looked from Pirro's point of view. Well, both the Opels heavily damaged, both the Audis heavily damaged, and the Opel pretty much worse for wear as well. Out front though, Laurent Aiello romping away on this tight East German circuit, just a few kilometres from Magdeburg. And he is clear of the 2 BMWs. And the Nissan of Michael Krum in 4th place. Cecotto with Winkelhock doing his best to ride tail gunner for him. And with his second double winning weekend of the season, Johnny Cecotto finds that Laurent Aiello has closed now to within 2 points in the championship. So the final round of the season, the Nürburgring, the 4th of October, cold but dry conditions. Manuel Reuter on pole position from Michael Krum, with Laurent Aiello in third, Roland Asch in fourth, in a session in which no fewer than 14 drivers at some stage or another held pole position. It was an amazing qualifying situation. Well, Johnny Cecotto starts in 9th place, but he's up into 5th place in the first corner, but only just as he gets sideways and another Opel gets broadside right behind him, riding with Cecotto, and right ahead of him is Laurent Aiello. These two separated by 2 points. Cecotto, the championship leader, Joe Winkelhock out of the first race in the pits with a puncture, and of no help at all here now to Johnny Cecotto. But it's all down to Laurent Aiello to do. Reuter leads from Ellery. Aiello and Cecotto pushing hard. Michael Krum makes a mistake and goes off on his own. And here is Krum outbraking himself as they turn off the Grand Prix circuit. He comes back to finish 12th. Aiello right behind Reuter and Ellery. Johnny Cecotto doesn't need to chase him. There's still the double point main race to come. And although they will change positions after the sprint, with Aiello taking the championship lead by 1 point, as the graphic shows there, it still means that everything must be decided in the main race. So Reuter wins again from Opel's 5th pole position of the year, his 3rd pole of the year. But the BMW and Peugeot teams can now throw away everything from the rest of the season with 1 point between them. Whoever finishes first wins the championship. As Cecotto said before the weekend, nothing else counts, it's just this weekend. And now nothing else counts, it's just the sprint. François Soudan and Jean-Pierre Boulanger there, the Peugeot team manager and the Peugeot sports chef. And it looks like Johnny Cecotto's car is a diesel. It's pouring out so much unburnt fuel as he sits there on the rev limiter, and he gets away ahead of Laurent Aiello. They finished 3rd and 4th in the race, and Aiello does not get a good start. Aiello right the way down in the order into 5th place in the first corner. Cecotto is 2nd. It looks as though he's making a bid for victory as well, to win the championship by winning the race. He doesn't need to, but at least if he's ahead, then he can watch everybody else. Eric Ellery, the early leader then, from Cecotto and Altzen. And there is Laurent Aiello. Charlie Lamb and Volker Streisek chatting. Charlie Lamb running the Schnitzer BMWs, Volker Streisek the Opels, and they are trying to ensure that the championship race is not damaged by Opel's attempts to win the manufacturer's title by getting as many Opels up into point-scoring positions as possible. So after the first lap, Aiello only 6th place, Altzen passing Cecotto for 2nd, and then Reuter there passing Cecotto for 3rd. But Aiello fighting back. It seemed initially as though his tyres were the wrong choice for the track. He was sliding all over the place in the early stages of this long main race. He gets past Michael Krum there at the Wiedol chicane. Now he fights past Alexander Bergstaller. But Cecotto is still ahead of him and still in a position to win the championship. What can Laurent Aiello do? In the closing stage, it seems as though the Peugeot's tyres are coming back to him. Off here go Christian Abt and Roland Asch. Asch finishing his last ever race, Nissan's last ever race, with a car that will never race again. Despite all his efforts, Laurent Aiello unable to pass Tom Christensen here, the Honda driver. Allows Aiello past once, but Aiello then made a mistake, and Christensen was able to sneak back ahead. Well, Opel's 1, 2 and 3, but in 4th place it's Johnny Cecotto, and he takes the 1998 STW Championship by 3 points. So those 4 points that he somehow managed to get at La when he'd broken the steering and was guarded all the way to the line by Menzel and Winkelhock were the deciding factor.